Hi, it's Jamie with Fayette County Extension, and today we're back to show you how we are going to dig garlic. Yes, we're talking about garlic again. We've got the short video we did back in the fall of how you plant garlic, and now we're here, it's midsummer, we're ready to dig. Actually, it's approaching late June, and we're out here checking. We've had some heavy rainfall, and as garlic matures, this is soft neck garlic, so we didn't have a bloomscape. As garlic matures, and this is not very clean, you can see here that some of these outer layers, which form the outer leaves, form the outer layers of the bulb. They've started to decompose or split and break down. We want to harvest the garlic at this stage when you're starting to see about lower third of the leaves yellowing, and we want to get it out of the ground before too many late spring, early summer rains rot these tissue-like layers around the bulb. Once these rot or dry out through to the individual cloves, you can get bacteria and stuff in here that's going to shorten the storage life. So don't leave your garlic until this whole stalk is dying down. That's a little too late. A lot of our information says late July, August. Mine never goes that long if it's fall planted. I'm usually digging around the solstice or the end of June to keep those tunics or those paper wrappers in place. So garlic is misleading. You'd be very tempted, especially in soil like we have in this raised bed, to grab it and pull it out. That's not best for storage either. So we're going to lift our garlic. We come back several inches away, we go under, and we just want to lift and make sure those roots are loosened and we're not damaging the bulb by pulling. Once those are loosened up, a smaller tool would have worked just as well in this loose soil. We come back, we gently lift out the garlic and shake off as much of the soil as we can. These are reasonably nice heads of garlic. They can be bigger. We're digging when the soil is fairly moist. That means we're going to end up washing these, but let me get a few more out of the ground. Okay. Now, here's what we've got. If this were drier, we might be able to just let these dry from this point, but because we have quite a bit of mud, we're going to rinse these. I know my tunics or the paper coatings are still intact, so I'm just going to lay those out, spread them out some, and I'm going to come back with a water hose and I'm going to wash these off, flip them over. I'm going to get the soil as much as possible out of these and show you what we've got after we've cleaned them up and we're ready to go into curing. Okay, we've sprayed the worst of the mud off these. In washing, the goal is not to make them impeccably clean, perfectly white. Some of this little brown decaying stem is okay. It's all going to dry up. And this is the stage. Once they've dried, I would air dry these to get a little more water off of them. I just leave them laying out in the grass. But at this stage, once these have dried just a little bit to get the moisture off of them, we can start loosely bundling in 12 or so heads, and tie that up loosely. Hang it in a warm, well-ventilated place. A barn or a shed with slatted walls is perfect, somewhere they can get lots of air movement. And we're going to hang them there for 3 weeks to a month. Quite frankly, I have a shaded porch that gets all the above, and I put bundles of 12 to 15 heads, loosely tie them with string. I try to have the heads at different angles so I'm not crowding one up to rot in the middle by a dozen others. Loosely tie them up, and I leave them there in the cool for the entire winter for that matter, and then pull my planting stock. Another tip about garlic: when you're digging, save your nicest, biggest heads for next year's seed stock. You always cook the smaller stuff, give that to friends. Your biggest giant cloves always go in the ground. And by doing that, where you save your garlic stock, you can produce larger, more vigorous garlic by always selecting your best ones to set aside, not put into the pot, but save for planting in the fall. So this is digging garlic. The soft neck types are going to store once they're cured for somewhere between 6 and 8 months. Hard necks will store in the 4 to 5 month range. There's lots of information in our home vegetable guide about garlic. You can find more online. And as always, we hope this has been helpful. If you're not growing your own fresh garlic, you're missing it. I grew up in a household where my mother only used dried garlic powder. This is vastly superior. Once you've cooked with fresh garlic, you'll never go back. Jamie at UK Extension, hoping your garlic has done well, and this gives you some tips to help get it out of the ground and store it properly.